everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of
The BookMarks.
I
am your host, Mark Bookerson, joined here by my co-host,
Marquelle Bookerson.
No relation as always.
No relation.
This week, we're going to be reading the very popular new young adult novel, My Sweet Epic Fantasy by Jennifer Mondale.
This is a wonderful, wonderful book. It has just come out. It is beautiful. It's got twists. It's got turns. It is dark, y'all. But first, we have to have a word from our first actual non-Ken sponsor.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord.
Thank God.
Let's hear from our sponsor. Here they are.
Are you nosy? When people tell you not to try to find something out, is it your immediate inclination to do the exact opposite? Do you enjoy investigative journalism because you're too polite to indulge your own curiosity, but you love when other people do? Then I am definitely the protagonist for you. My name's Hayden, and if you tune into the show Signed Venus on your favourite podcasting service, you'll get to join me and my partner Cameron on an epic journey through the totally real country of Conclair, as we work to uncover the identity of an anonymous travel writer. So far, it hasn't been going at all like we expected, honestly, but that just makes it all the more intriguing, right? Between being chased out of town by an angry sailor, unravelling a thieving scheme at an extravagant masquerade, and trying not to get our heads bitten off by a teenager with a skateboard, we'll keep you invested in the mystery and make you laugh. I promise. Listen to Signed Venus on the podcasting platform of your choice.
And we're back with this week's review of My Sweet Epic Fantasy, the dark young adult novel by Jennifer Mondale.
Yeah, and I guess sort of let's break down the book. Like, let's kind of get into it. You know, this book follows a young adult, as the genre would imply, Damien Bloodborne.
A teenager.
Exactly. As they and their best friend,
Michael.
Exactly. Michael have to travel cross-country to take down the darkness devil after they have unleashed it upon the world.
Yeah, it's some pretty serious stuff. Like it's really dark. Like, no pun intended. This is a very dark novel. Like, you've got this opening scene where they are unleashing the darkness devil. It's very Pandora's box-y,
very much,
you know,
so.
Like they get this box that they inherited from their father, and then they open it up, and it's kind of crazy. And like, Jennifer Mondale writes these beautiful scenes where the darkness devil is like going through these cities, and just like all the light is getting sucked up, right? So the only lights that you see are like the stars and the moon and the northern lights, and it's really beautifully written, actually. And they're chasing the darkness devil across country, and they get into all these crazy situations and opportunities, just trying to follow this to put an end to it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and as they sort of start following, they sort of arrive at the conclusion that the only way the darkness devil can sort of absorb all natural light, so they have to go to Alaska, which has the northern lights, which the darkness devil cannot mute, and they have to sort of I guess destroy is the right word. The demon stronghold that sits below Alaska, New Devil City.
New Devil City.
On the nose much, but overall,
it's a young adult novel. I mean, they do that sort of thing. It's charming. It's charming.
I think a lot of the novel sort of comes. It can be described as them traveling from place to place as they have to make various, I don't even, like, dubious, I guess, decisions and deals with various devils.
With devils, yes.
Which just kind of didn't hit for me too much. I think
No, I mean, they keep getting put in these situations, like really bad situations. Like there was that one scene when they were out in South Arizona and they were in the desert. And this was like the green desert, you know, where all the sand is green. I mean, if you've never been to the green desert, it's beautiful.
It actually is very beautiful. We went on vacation there probably about 5 years ago. Yeah, and the sunrise is transcendent.
I know. I mean, I've never been.
You should come with our family one time. It is like
Thank you. I
beautiful.
will consider that. But anyway, so they are going through the green desert in South Arizona, and there's this scene where like so they're following the darkness devil, and the darkness devil has sucked up all the light, all the energy is gone, and they need to get gas from a gas station to make the car run so they can keep following the darkness devil. And they can't get the machine to work. And there was this scene, remember, where Damien made a pact with the devil to give away 2 years of their life so that they could get the power to go. And I was so, I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful and painful.
I don't know. I just felt like the characterization on the oil devil was sort of lacking, I guess.
Like
one note, one-dimensional. It just sort of felt like you're gonna trade 2 years of your life for a little gas. Like, just go find a gas station.
That's the point. They were at the gas station. It wasn't working. It's not that simple. Like, I know. Okay, I get it. It seems like a simple situation, but they were following literal evil that they had unleashed upon the world, and they had to put a stop to it, and they did what they had to in order to keep going. If they hadn't have, they wouldn't have been able to complete the journey, and then the world would have just been completely annihilated in darkness because of the darkness devil. Damien did what they thought was necessary in order to save the world.
It just sort of felt a little ham-fisted at times, like when they were fighting the trolley devil in San Francisco,
fun scene, though.
And they were all like, "Oh, do you want to kill these? Are you gonna kill Michael, or are you gonna kill these 3 random strangers, Damien?" And it was like, "Oh, come on, Michael! Like, just don't. How would you let them catch you in the first place? Like, how did you end up in this situation to begin with?"
Okay, I mean, Michael was just going to get a shawarma and he wasn't paying attention. It could happen to anybody. I mean, that happened to me when I was getting a kebab last week, you know, like
you were abducted and put on a trolley?
No, I wasn't abducted, but there was this situation. It was just like the trolley situation where you have to decide whether you're going to, you know, murder 1 kebab or murder 3. I had a coupon. I had to use it. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, I guess let's get to the end of the book. At the end, you've come to find out that Damien this whole time has secretly been a devil, and Michael apparently is a half angel. Oh, who would have guessed that?
Mm-hmm.
And you find out Damien's apparently like a fragment of Lucifer or something, the fallen angel, and they end up having to go to war. And I don't know, I for the life of me could not understand Damien betraying Michael in that situation at all. That didn't make sense to me.
Like, I mean, anyway, we're going to talk about that as we move into our thoughts. So,
all right. Would you like to start us off, Marquelle? I get the feeling you have some.
I do. Okay, so my thoughts about this book is that overall, you've got this character who did some pretty bad things, release this Pandora's box type of thing and let the darkness devil out, and then having to chase it across the entire of the continental United States, and then having to deal with this whole situation where in the end, Michael and Azrael are having this argument, and Damien decide they're going to rip out their heart, and they're going to rip out Azrael's heart, and they're going to mix it together in this beautiful light show of incredible intricacy.
It was very beautiful.
It was beautiful. Mondale does some wild stuff with light descriptions, but anyway, so they did this so that they could save the universe. And, sometimes people do quote unquote bad things.
Okay, but
no bad things so that they can right the wrongs of the world.
That's clearly not the only way that they could have gone about it, was to merge their heart with the leader of the demon army. That doesn't make any sense. Like, there was a very clear way that they and Michael could have handled this probably a lot more peacefully and with a lot less civilians dying. I mean, the entire state of Nebraska was wiped off the map.
I know,
that didn't seem like too high a cost.
Look, there was that whole thing where they tried to have a conversation with Azrael, and Azrael just was not having it. There was no other option than to rip the heart out and merge.
That's no other
way.
No other option.
No other option.
There were zero other options. You don't think Michael and Damien could have planned together with John the prophet? Which, honestly, once again, how did we miss that? But you don't think they could have planned with John the prophet to somehow subvert this prophecy? That's what half the book was building up to, is the idea that you don't have to go along with prophecy. And yet here we are standing under the northern lights in Alaska as Damien is ripping out Azrael's heart. That's not convincing to me. I'm sorry.
But that was the whole thing. It was not having to follow the prophecy and having John help them with that. And yes, it was merging the hearts, which at first seems like it's part of the prophecy, but then they had the epilogue where it turns out that Damien and Azrael are now one individual, as opposed to just Damien taking over Azrael. So it was more of a shared kind of thing, because it was too much for them to handle.
There's no world in which you can convince me that they are okay for all of the terrible decisions they make. So many people were caught up in the collateral of all the decisions that Damien and Michael made throughout the course of this story.
Sometimes they
made a deal with mob boss Tony, who was quite literally described in the book to be the worst of humanity, of just normal human beings alive, the worst. And they made a deal so that they could get a lead on the darkness devil.
But they did that.
It didn't even get them in the full direction they needed to go. So it's not even fully worth it when you actually think about it retrospectively.
This was all an allegory for how humanity is. Yes, it's a horrible thing sometimes, but Tony wasn't all bad either, because yes, Tony wanted to do this heist, but Tony was a mob boss who had this situation where he was getting the money and they were helping him get the money because he was trying to create a cure for cancer.
Oh, that was
a whole
literally
subplot.
a ploy. That was literally a ploy. It was even felt like when they described it, like Mob Boss Tony wasn't trying to. You think Mob Boss Tony was going to be the person who was going to cure cancer all of a sudden? That's a real convenient excuse to do a whole bunch of crime when there are real organizations that exist that are actively trying to cure cancer that have a whole lot more funding than Mob Boss Tony. It's real convenient that Mob Boss Tony also gets to eat steak for dinner every night on top of trying to use all this money to cure cancer. That's believable for you, that he's just also trying to do this good thing after all of the terrible things he's done?
Yes, it is. It is believable to me, because people will do these situations sometimes. They'll be in these situations where they're painted into a corner. Mob Boss Tony, like that whole side arc of this story.
No one's in a situation where they don't.
Whoa!
You always have a choice.
Whoa! No, that I don't agree with, because sometimes, you know, I mean, I don't. Sometimes people.
Do you not think people make choices in life that get them where they are?
Okay, sometimes people are dealt bad hands. Sometimes people are put in situations where they have to do things that might be a little bit dubious and might be a little bit questionable and a little bit unethical and a little bit morally gray because they have to do things to take care of the people that they love. This is a thing that real people have to deal with in the real world, Mark.
Just because you get dealt a bad hand in life doesn't mean you now get to cheat at the game.
But sometimes the game is rigged, and sometimes you have to do things like joining a temp agency that allows you to do things that are not just answering phones and not just distributing mail and not just going on coffee runs. And sometimes you have to do things to get out of this situation where you are struggling day in and day out to put food on the table for your family and pay for your sister's braces and help your grandfather who's friggin' MS, and just you're in this situation and you don't know what to do, so sometimes you take those side jobs because they're going to get you a little bit further out of this hole that you're constantly dug in.
Are you okay, Marquelle?
No, I'm not. I'm not okay. I'm not. I mean, just you come from this place of privilege, Mark. You don't know.
I don't know.
You come from a place of privilege. I'm sorry, but it's true. You don't know.
It's a young adult novel that was written for 12-year-olds, and because I was born to certain people now, I can't understand the deeper message.
You don't know what it's like to be put in these situations where you're, for example, driving the Pope across Vatican City while he's being shot at by Batmen. Batmen, plural.
Okay, Marquelle, I just feel like in an effort to get the upper hand, we're just making things up now.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and break the commercial, maybe. And
that sounds good.
While that commercial's playing, you could tell me a bit more about, you said they were Batmen.
Batmen. Plural. Multiple.
Yeah, all right. Everyone, here's a commercial for you. Hope you enjoy.
6th of November. It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming. We did not go far.
11th of October, evening. Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept. I think none of us were surprised when we were asked to see Mrs. Harker a little before the time of sunset. We have of late come to understand that sunrise and sunset are to her times of particular.
25th of September, 6 o'clock. Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. You may sleep without doubt. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life.
24th of August. I must imitate Mina and keep writing things down. Then we can have long talks when we do meet. I wonder when it will be. I wish you were here with me again. I feel
On July 6th, we finished taking in cargo. Silver, sand, and boxes of earth. At noon, set sail. East wind.
25th of May. My dear Aunt, we've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies and dressed one another's wounds after trying to land...
3rd of May. Bistritz. I had for dinner, or rather, supper, a chicken, done up some way with red pepper. Memorandum, get recipe for Mina. I asked the waiter, and he said it was called Paprika Hendel.
Regarding Dracula will be a chronological adaptation of Bram Stoker's Gothic masterpiece.
We need your blood, help, to get this adaptation out of its coffin and into your podcatcher of choice.
Visit bit.ly/REDracula to invite this podcast into your home.
The stakes are high because this is an all-or-nothing project.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
And we're back,
guys.
Had some deep breaths, some deep hugs.
Some nice conversation.
Yeah, everything's good. But, that prior conversation really did kind of get me thinking, Marquelle.
Yeah?
What is the most illegal thing you've ever done?
Oh, well... Okay, I'm going! Did you get the money? Did you get the money?
Yes, I did. I got the money.
Good.
But I may not have lost my dignity in the process.
Okay, I don't care about your dignity. How much money did you get? Did you clean him out?
$25,000.
$25,000? Are you serious right now?
Okay, princess.
That's nothing.
$25,000 is a lot to me.
Okay, well, okay, it's a lot to me too, but not enough to risk my life.
Catching up.
Going as fast as I can. It's a jalopy. I don't know what to tell you. It doesn't go over 35 miles an hour. One time, when I was 12, I was really into drawing, and I went into one of those stores where they sell like art supplies, the Nib and the Knob.
Oh, love that place,
down on 32nd, and I needed some more pens, so I took a box of them and I put them down the front of my pants, and then I walked out. So
your massive crime escapade that you've been so dearly guarding close to your heart is that you stole some pens when you were a kid? Marquelle, certainly you're not that lame.
Okay, lame? Whoa! Excuse me, Mr. Straight-Lace. What do you know about crime? What petty crimes or massive heists and foibles have you performed, sir?
You want to know about crime, Marquelle? Let me tell you a story. I don't know, I think this was what? I was probably around 17, so the summer going into my senior year of high school. We were partying down at Mom's lake house. It was me, T-Bone, Darth Kibble, and Timothy Llewellyn, and we might have been a little tipsy, maybe just a little bit, and we were driving down Interstate 95, and we hit something, or someone, or something, as we got out the car, and we see that, at first I couldn't really tell. There were so many different sort of features that were on this thing. But then my time not paying attention in class, reading lore of different countries really paid off, because I realized it was the Vietnamese beast of legend, the Su Tu Ga Lon, the lion chicken pig. It's part lion, part chicken, part pig, 100% terror. And quite frankly, we're freaking out because this thing's talking to us telepathically. It's like bleeding and it's got like teeth, but also a beak. It's really freaking us out. And so we straight up had to fight that thing really to the death. It was maybe one of the scariest events of my lifetime, but when we finally got this, and I know it sounds small, but it's really more like the lion is very prevalent in its size, so it was a very big creature, and we ended up burying it. It turns out that you have to kill it with like a silvered blade, apparently. Luckily, T-Bone, I guess, carries a silvered knife on him at all times, and we were able to kill the beast. After we buried it, we all kind of went our separate ways and never really spoke about it again, but I don't know, something tells me that the Su Tu Ga Lon is maybe out for revenge.
Are you serious?
Oh, no. The Su Tu Ga Lon is cool and all, but no, I've never actually done anything that crazy. I don't have like night terrors or anything where it speaks to me in my sleep telling me that, it's going to come for my mortal soul. That doesn't happen, obviously.
Obviously. It looks like next up is Markelle's Corner.
Let's cue that transition music.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Markelle's Corner. This week, I want to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart with y'all. I would just I want to be honest. I would love to not have to be the one to support my family. I mean, I'm 27 now. I've been doing this for 10 years, ever since my parents disappeared in a freak Bermuda Triangle disappearance accident. It was very complicated. And, Grandpa, well, he already had MS by the time they went missing, so it was just me to take care of Jess and Janet and Francoise and Guillaume and Bernadette. And that's a lot of responsibility for a 17-year-old, you know? And like this story we've been reviewing about people who have to do things, difficult things that they don't want to do and are hard for the right reasons, the good of the people they love. And I guess I relate to that. I wish I could do something nice for myself once in a while, like actually go to the Green Desert in South Arizona, but you know, maybe one day I'll finally be able to do that. And you know, I take solace in the fact that there are a lot of literary characters who've gone through the same sort of thing like me, like Jean Valjean stealing bread, and Aladdin, who also stole bread, and I guess that's just the theme of the week. You make your bread by stealing bread. So I guess with all of that in mind, you know, people can do a lot of things, not so good things, because of money and fear, and I guess fear can also drive us into misjudging people and where they're coming from. And maybe you don't always need to take the extreme route to get out of situations.
Yeah, you know, I think maybe because of my own personal hatred of young adult novels, you know, I may have taken the critique a bit too far, you know, because kind of after hearing everything you've said and really listening, I guess it was wrong of me to treat it like everyone is running the same race, because that's not true. Everyone is starting. I
appreciate that.
Of course, you know, I think that we're all starting from different places, and to expect people to behave a certain way because of where I started isn't fair. We got to let everyone run their own race. And I think all that stuff you just said in the Markelle's Corner, throw that in the book. Throw it in the book.
Yeah, I guess I could squeeze some space in the Great American Novel TM for it. But, hey, I'm hungry. Do you wanna get some food?
Yeah, you know, I think maybe it was the bread talk, but I could...
Yeah, I think it was the bread talk,
I could
too.
kill some McQuellens right now. Did you know they just got, like, a whole new ramen menu? It's a menu.
McQuellens has
ramen? It's a ramen bar now.
Oh my, we have to go. Shut this down.
Yeah,
we gotta go get some noodles.
Hey, everyone, thank you for joining us on this episode of the BookMarks. Follow us on all the socials, all of them. There's so many socials to follow us on. Go follow us there.
There's the Bob Market, there's Face Blob, just all of them. Check them out. We're there.
I think we're on, like, Film Freeway or something. I don't know. Just follow
us.
Film
Freeway 1, 2, and 3.
So, go ahead, follow us. In the meantime, we're gonna go get some ramen and hang out and stuff, because we're friends.
Slurp, slurp, man.
Slurp, slurp. We will see you in the next one. Have a great day, y'all. Starring the vocal talents of Mark Bookerson as Cody Smith.
Marquelle Bookerson, played by Virginia Lee.
The Bank Robber, played by Jodi Hansen.
Our podcast is supported by people like you. You can support us and other shows made by WGC by subscribing to WGC Productions on Patreon. And you can follow us at WithGoodCo on Instagram and Twitter, and at WGC Productions on Tumblr and Facebook.